So is bamboo rayon good or evil? And maybe you'd like some tips on where to find it and how to tell whether or not you're being greenwashed and how to take care of it so that it lasts a long time. And if you're a fashion rebel like me, you want some tips on how to sew it. And I've got all that here for you. First of all, what the F is it, right? Is it a man-made material or is it a plant-based material? Well, it's both. If it had a pronoun, it would be they. What they do is they take a plant product like wood or bamboo and they use chemicals to make it soluble so that it turns into a sticky thing. And then they shoot it through a tiny hole so it comes out like Play-Doh into some other chemicals which make it solid again. So you get these long strings of fibers and that's what becomes the thread that gets woven together to become nice, lightweight, flowy fabric, or a thicker, heavier fabric depending on the process. And there's about 1 billion ways that you can do this, billions of different kinds of chemicals, and some options are very good and some options are completely heinous and toxic. A lot of rayon is, lightweight and silky. It was originally designed as imitation silk, so that's one of its most common uses. So this means it's a little tricky to sew because it's so lightweight. It can get jammed in your sewing machine. But if you swap out your needle for like a small one and use a lightweight thread, and here's the key, if you have a presser plate that has the small opening, that's really key because it won't allow as much fabric to get pushed down into the machine. Another thing you can do if you don't have that, or even in augmenting that, is just take a little piece of paper at the beginning and ends of your seam lines where you have to go back and forth because that's where it'll tend to jam, and then rip that paper off afterwards. That's what I do.
If I have to iron it, I just throw it out.
If you don't own an iron, try hanging it to dry or putting it in the bathroom when you take a steamy shower.
Can you wash it?
Absolutely, but less is better, and be gentle.
Does it shrink?
The hotter and more often you wash it, the more it will shrink.
Is it strong?
It's not usually very strong, but some are made better than others.
Will it compost?
I wouldn't put it in my compost unless it's Tencel.
Is it stretchy?
It can be knit or woven. So usually it doesn't stretch.
Is it comfortable?
Yes.
Is it soft?
Yes.
What is it great for?
Summer clothes.
Does it breathe well?
Yes.
How does it move?
Flowy.
Does it take dye easily?
Fantastically.
What's the deal with bamboo rayon?
Let's talk about greenwashing. So Mama Earth loves plants that eat up carbon and that grow really fast, and bamboo has the potential to do that and to be grown without pesticides. So we got to give it 2 points just for that. Woohoo! And then manufacturers are an easy sell on this because they also like things that are cheap and quick to produce, right? So another 2 points. But then we got our manufacturers and they want it to be even cheaper and even faster. So they go ahead and cut down the rainforest, -1 point, and use pesticides and chemicals to grow that bamboo even faster, -2 points. And furthermore, they continue to dump their chemicals in the water and let their gases out into the air, and pretty soon everybody in the area of the manufacturing has respiratory diseases and is sick. So that's horrible. So what do you do? Because the manufacturers are all coming out telling you they're sustainable because they made this one tiny little effort. They recognize that you want bamboo. But you are too smart to let it end there. So I know you want to find a manufacturer that loves on Mother Earth. Yes? So you go to the website and here's some of the terms that you're looking for to determine whether or not this company that says it's sustainable really is. Well, first of all, closed system. That is a good term for rayon. It means that they're not releasing gases or chemicals back into the world, that they are recapturing and reusing them. It's expensive and very hard to do, but there are places that do that. So that's something good to look for. Manufactured in a country that has regulations around toxic waste dumping, that's also a good thing to look for. Another thing to look for is any company where they're actually listing real numbers and showing in what ways they're sustainable. So they're not necessarily advertising that they're sustainable, but they're saying, hey, we reduced the chemical dumping by 30% by doing this specific thing. So real transparency and not general terms is kind of what you're looking for. But let's be honest, the easiest and cheapest way to get sustainable, or at least rayon that's not impacting the earth any further, is secondhand. So go to the clothing swap, go to the consignment store, hit Goodwill, hit the bins. I know you'll find all kinds of treasures that you can rework. Okay, so when you're thrifting secondhand rayon, here's how to spot it on the rack. So for one thing, it's very drapey, and usually it has a bunch of wrinkles to it. Even in a very virgin state, it'll have creases from the packaging, or where the weight of the fabric has leaned against itself on the way to the store. So it's pretty easy to spot, and you can also always check the label. Look at this label. 100% rayon, made in China. Okay, I'm skeptical. I learned about counterfeit labels when I was working with some silk once, and it really didn't feel at all like silk in my hands. So I took it out and I gave a piece of it the burn test, and it melted, right? I suspect, silk doesn't melt, it burns into ash. I suspect this will melt too. Rayon also does not melt. It burns like paper, since it's also made from the same kinds of cellulose that paper is made from. Shall we test it? What do you say, darling? Are you up for the burn test? Will you take that challenge on? So we're going to burn this part. And it's melting before it's burning. There's no burning there. It's all just melted. Yeah, it is definitely melting up. It's sticking to itself. This is not rayon. There you go. There's my best advice for an eco-chic summer. Buy rayon secondhand and make it look fabulous. And if you are wanting to look fabulous all year round, I have a wonderful video about that, and I will link it.